Hello, welcome to From the South. I'm Laura Prada from the Telesur Studios in Caracas, Venezuela. We begin with the news. Stay with us. And we start in Venezuela, where thousands of citizens have taken to the streets on the state of Falcón to support the Bolivarian government. The president of the National Constituent Assembly, Diosdado Cabello, joined the march. Demonstrators said they will defend the constitution and their country against any foreign intervention, and that they do not recognize the self-proclaimed leader Juan Guaidó as interim president.
We are fighters, workers, and Venezuelan women who are not going to step back. We are going to fight for the people of Bolívar, people of Zamora, and the people of Manuel Sáenz, who was a fighter. We are here to fight and support our president, Nicolás Maduro. Let our president alone. Let him work. You have to rule in your country. We rule in ours. Here we want peace, solutions. We don't want war or violence. It's enough. The imperialism needs to stop.
Firstly, the president of the assembly is flouting. The Supreme Court did not recognize that assembly. So that man cannot come before the people who already elected its president and say he wants to take the government. We, Venezuelans, do not agree. He is not the president and he never will be.
Now let's see the following report that our correspondent Luis Tavera sent us.
Today, Venezuela lived a day of mobilization by the followers of the Venezuelan opposition. This has dismantled this opinion of seeking to implement through social networks. From the east, it reflects several concentrations that requires freedom of expression, being protected by the Constitution, which allows you to make these demonstrations as long as they remain peaceful as today. During this week, the revolutionary forces have remained in active policies demonstrating the rejection of the developing state coup d'etat applied to Venezuela from the United States. The constitutional president, Nicolás Maduro, had an agenda loaded with several activities, as the meeting between the Bolivarian armed forces with the military high command that once again reiterated the support and military practices to defend the Magna Carta. The president also announced the installation of a mission called Venezuela Bella, which has a special feature and is just beautiful those cities that still suffer damage by the rioting of the year 2017. Venezuelans have shown that they don't want to return to the rioting and chaos in the country. Popular support is still evident in the streets even when facing a situation hoping to bring down Venezuelan democracy. The people are against the Venezuelan coup d'etat in their country.
International community, listen to us. We choose our president, Nicolás Maduro.
Social inclusion is another achievement that grandparents will continue defending.
As you can imagine, people are in streets defending Nicolás.
On the other side of the city, the opposition held protests for 2 hours despite low attendance. Everything was calm, with all the democratic guarantees that protect freedom of expression. Meanwhile, the revolutionary forces showed their strength and said that certain sectors of the opposition are playing with Venezuelan sovereignty.
They have evidence agreements with international business. They have supported the proclamation of an illegitimate president, usurping the post of president for which Maduro was elected. He has been chosen for 6 years, and he was elected by the people following the death of Comandante Hugo Chávez.
Venezuela will continue on the path of peace and confirm that there are clear constitutional means to preserve the country's sovereignty. They don't want interference.
And President Nicolás Maduro has met with the army once again during a military drill. The troops assured the president that they are ready to defend Venezuela's territorial integrity during the military exercise. Maduro accused Colombia in this opportunity of dividing the country's armed forces. And in the last few weeks, the military have been preparing for the upcoming Congress of Angostura celebrations, expected to be the biggest military exercise in the country's history. The army commander said soldiers are ready to sacrifice their life for their country.
Aquí, en la patria de Bolívar y Chávez,
here in the nation of Bolivar and Chavez, people are the one who rule. Here we do not have a king or queen. Here there is a popular power, a civil-military union to defend the country with our lives if need be. What are we going to do?
Succeed.
For who?
For Venezuela.
For who?
For Venezuela.
For our nation, we will win.
Meanwhile, in the U.S., Trump's administration continued with its threats not only against Venezuela, but also against its allies. Via Twitter, the National Security Advisor John Bolton said the government is ready to take actions against anyone who does business with Venezuela. He called for countries not to deal in gold, oil, or other Venezuelan commodities. And Mexico and Uruguay have announced that they will jointly host an international conference to advocate for dialogue in Venezuela. The conference will be held in Uruguay's capital, Montevideo, on February 7th. Representatives of countries and international organizations willing to help Venezuela will join. Time for a first break. Hearing from the South. Make sure you follow us on Twitter at Telesur English and at my personal account at Laura P. Telesur. Stay with us. And we are back. 2 more social leaders have been killed in Colombia, bringing the number of leaders murdered this year to 16. Our correspondent in Colombia, Paola Fernandez, with the report.
The murders of social leaders will not stop in Colombia. On Tuesday, we learned about 2 more social leaders being killed in the Valle de Cauca department, one of the most violent areas in the country. Dilio Corpus Gueito and José Jair Orozco were the victims. Social movements said the reports on the situation are not being listened to, and the Social Leaders National Security Council has met to discuss more actions. The Colombian president has also said government will announce new measures to protect social leaders. On the other hand, human rights organizations have said there is a lack of public policy and commitment from government.
Thank you, Paola. And in Brazil, the Supreme Court granted former President Luiz Inácio Lula da Silva permission to attend to his brother's funeral. But the decision came too late, as his brother had already been buried. Our correspondent Ignacio Lemos in Sao Paulo brings us the details.
Yesterday, Lula's defense lawyer requested a permit for the former president to leave prison so he could attend the vigil and funeral of his older brother. The 79-year-old Hannibal Inácio da Silva died of lung cancer on Tuesday. Lula's defense argued that the law clearly states that prisoners are allowed to attend funerals of their relatives. Even though the Supreme Court Chief Justice permitted Lula to go to the funeral, the decision was too late, as live streaming of the funeral on various social media platforms showed that Hannibal Inácio da Silva had been buried. Therefore, the decision proved to be ineffectual. Later, the Chief Justice allowed Lula to meet with his family at a military base. Lula's lawyer said the meeting was negotiated to compensate him for the incompetent Brazilian justice system. Left-wing parties, social movements, and human rights organizations once again highlighted the political motives of Lula Inácio da Silva's imprisonment. They condemned that he wasn't able to bid farewell to his brother. Previously, authorities in Sao Paulo argued that they don't have the resources to guarantee the security of an operation of this nature, which would have likely attracted a huge crowd. Critics highlighted the controversy of Lula's sentencing, as it was the fastest among those tried in the same corruption case. Yet the court moved very slowly in allowing him to attend his brother's funeral.
Thank you, Nacho. And global unions also in Brazil have staggered protests in front of Vale's headquarters after the mine dam collapsed. Demonstrators said corporate greed was at the heart of the disaster that killed at least 84 people, with almost 300 still missing. According to the unions, the 2017 environmental report had unearthed flaws in the dam, which put it at risk of collapse. It is a report they say the company ignored.
The company knew that this very tailing dam that we're speaking it, the one that broke up, there were leakages and there were problems in the inspections, and the company was aware of it since 2017 and didn't take any action.
And high temperatures in the Argentine capital, Buenos Aires, has caused failures in the electricity service. It happens despite the cost increase to public services pushed by the government. Edgardo Esteban has the details.
The power outage continued in the Argentine capital despite the high temperatures. Currently, the thermal sensation is around 45 degrees, causing problems for more than 110,000 users, and at least 70,000 people have been protesting. With the increase in prices, it was expected that the quality of the service will improve. The truth is that the high temperatures will continue, as will the shortage of the electricity, which will be extended for the next couple of days.
Now we make another short break. We'll be back. Stay tuned. We are back. The Italian Prime Minister Giuseppe Conte has said that the 47 rescued immigrants on board of the Sea-Watch NGO ship will finally be able to disembark, after Italy and 6 other countries reached an agreement to let them in. France, Germany, Malta, Portugal, Romania, and Luxembourg are the other countries that have offered to accept some of the migrants that have been trapped on the Sea-Watch 3 vessel since January 19th. The ship, which had been taking refuge from bad weather in the Sicilian port city of Syracuse, has been ordered to Catania. There, the Interior Minister said that minors on board will be accommodated.
Once again, we see tensions rising in Europe around an issue of disembarkation, negotiations becoming necessary at the highest level to disembark a handful of people. I think this is the result of the extreme politicization of this issue. What Europe needs in very practical terms, short term, is at least a temporary agreement between those countries that are willing to come forward to take people that are disembarked, wherever they're disembarked, and then of course to process them in an expeditious manner, so those that are refugees are accepted and maybe further distributed.
And January 30th marks the 47th anniversary of Bloody Sunday in Derry, Northern Ireland. On this day in 1972, British troops shot and killed 14 peaceful Catholic protesters at a civil rights march. As the Brexit negotiations continue, concerns are on the rise over the issue of the Irish backstop. It is one of the major subjects of disagreement in the deal. The outcome of the deal could break the fragile peace in the zone established in the Good Friday Agreements 20 years ago.
So I don't want to go back to what it was like in the days gone by, and I just couldn't cope with that. And the young people coming up now, I just wouldn't want them to go through the same thing as I had to go through myself.
And Israeli security forces have killed a 16-year-old Palestinian teenager at a checkpoint after accusing her of trying to stab them. She allegedly charged towards them after coming out of a taxi when they fired. Our correspondent Nayara Tardo with the details.
Israeli soldiers have killed a Palestinian woman, saying she tried to stab them. The Ministry of Health in Palestine confirmed the murder and said she died after being shot several times. This occurred in the checkpoint that divides Jerusalem and the West Bank, one of Palestine's occupied territories, and where these violent cases are most reported. It's important to remember that during the 1967 war, Israel occupied all of Jerusalem and the West Bank, and since then, cases of Israeli repression against Palestinians haven't stopped. The UN High Commission for Human Rights has said it is worried for the increase of violence between Israeli forces and Palestinians.
Thank you, Nayara. And 17 people have gone on trial in Tunisia over the attack at a tourist resort in 2015 that killed 38 people. Those on trial are among some 40 people overall suspected of involvement in the attack. They include 6 security agents who are accused of failing to prevent the attack. The attack that was claimed by the Islamic State devastated the country's tourism sector. And about 500 people in the Democratic Republic of Congo attended a mass in memory of those who died during the 2017 marches. Congolese people took to the streets in 2017 in demonstration calling for former President Laurent Kabila to step down. 15 people were killed during the unrest. On Tuesday, mass came just days after the first peaceful transfer of power since independence for Belgium nearly 60 years ago, when Félix Tshisekedi was sworn in as Congo's president. And in Zimbabwe, the government has slashed both force following widespread nationwide protests. Earlier this month, demonstrators took to the streets after President Emmerson Mnangagwa announced an increase in fuel prices. Now, as the government responds to pressure from the people, riders are now paying a third of what they paid last week.
We are happy with what the government has done, and we wish for it to continue. The commuter taxis should be put off the road because now we can afford to buy some food and pay rent, and we are very happy.
With this information, we come to the end of News Brief, but you can find this and many other stories on our website, telesurenglish.net, where you can find more news, read our opinion articles, or find our special interviews. Continue with Telesur, connecting the global south. Until next time, thank you for watching.
I don't mind if they like me or not. What I want is they respect me as a human being. January the 31st of 1999, Jackie Robinson was born.
In a world infested by inequalities, abuse of power, and injustice, the American journalist Abby Martin covers the struggle for fundamental rights worldwide, deepening into the search of files which uncover the empire's strategies through our screen and web platform in English. The Empire Files with Abby Martin. Tuesday, only on Telesur. Telesur brings you special interviews with social and political personalities. Monday, from Washington. Tuesday, from Mexico. Wednesday, from Caracas. Thursday, from Quito. Friday, from Havana. Analysis about our continent's reality. Weekdays, only on Telesur. An occasion to enjoy the cultural diversity that defines our South American essence. Come along to find out the story behind these personalities, traditions, and artistic expressions that unite us as a whole. Real Lives. Friday, only on Telesur. Enjoy our programming from Monday to Friday, where you'll find the best information on culture, innovation, conservation, human well-being. Keep up to date on the latest innovations in science and technology with Atomun. The habits and knowledge you need to live a healthy lifestyle are on Guide Your Body. Environmental consciousness is required to preserve our Earth. Undergo your transformation on Green Zone. All about equity, diversity, and respect for identities on By Gender. Cultural manifestations, the art in all its forms, and the stories of real lives. Every day we feature a wide variety of content. Only on Telesur, the news source from Latin America and the Caribbean. Follow the most important global events through a comprehensive perspective. With a team of journalists in 25 locations around the world to convey our people's reality. From the South. Weekdays. Only on Telesur. Telesur brings you special interviews with social and political personalities. Monday, from Washington. Tuesday, from Mexico. Wednesday, from Caracas. Thursday, from Quito. Friday, from Havana. Analysis about our continent's reality. Weekdays, only on Telesur. With developing events being presented through analysis. Our coverage transcends borders. With renowned journalist Walter Martinez.
Salud amigos, tripulantes de nuestra querida, contaminada y única nave espacial.
Dossier. Weekdays. Only on Telesur.
Y ponga usted las cámaras, señor director.
The ruling world order has always subjugated the masses. But who are the actors behind every move? What are their real interests? We analyze every move on Critical Move. Weekdays, only on Telesur. The Pakistani journalist Tariq Ali examines the mass media influence promoted by imperialism. Get access to the analysis of the socio-economic and political life of the whole South America on our screen and platform in English. A critical place committed to the truth to determine the major events that transform the world today. Mondays, only on Telesur. world infested by inequalities, abuse of power, and injustice. The American journalist Abby Martin covers the struggle for fundamental rights worldwide, deepening into the search of files which uncover the empire's strategies through our screen and the web platform in English. The Empire Files with Abby Martin. Tuesday, only on Telesur.
为了保持身体健康，我冥想。
Para mantenerme saludable, yo corro.
To keep myself healthy, I study.
Για να διατηρηθώ υγιής, τρέφομαι σωστά.
Para mantenerme saludable, yo bailo.
Para mantenerme saludable, yo purifico mi espíritu a través del cuerpo. ¿Y tú?
Get your body. Tuesdays, only on Telesur. Our actions have an impact on the environment. It's our responsibility to change for the sake of our planet. Let's be part of this transition. Watch, preserve, and protect your Green Zone. Wednesdays, only on Telesur.
Acompañamos a los pueblos que resisten en cada una de sus luchas.
Somos esa ventana que se abre para visibilizarlos entre fronteras.
Thursdays, only on Telesur. An occasion to enjoy